Hey, welcome back for this third episode in this three-part series with Adam Poe as we launch Catalyst and really talk about being a call to action and being a catalyst. I'm really excited to share this interview with you and kind of close this out with Adam. I really appreciate you getting on this channel and listening and watching and being part of this journey. If you haven't already, check out the podcast for sure. And if you haven't watched the first two episodes or listened to the first two episodes, I would definitely encourage you to do that. Also, be sure to hit subscribe on this YouTube channel so that you get the latest releases. And give me some feedback, comments, reach out to me however. I want to know how this is impacting you and what your thoughts are. Let's get back to this chat with Adam Poe. So, last segment, I want to jump into the journey ahead for Adam Poe. What, as you look forward, whether it be, the next 6 months or whatever time frame, you want to encapsulate here, what are you excited about? What do you what motivates you, for this year or in the short term, long term, however you want to share?
I I'm most excited about enhancing the brand of this office. Brand is a really important thing to me. I think that it's the only way I mean, there's what, 12 State Farm agents and I think 42 insurance agencies in Gastonia. So you got to
Wow.
find a way to be able to brand yourself and differentiate
Yeah.
yourself. And I think
Yeah.
that if you can find the niche of how you brand yourself and you have the team that supports that brand, that's when you continue to pull away from the competition. And so that's what I'm most excited about this year. I think that, so question, when I say heart healthy cereal, what do you think of?
Cheerios.
Why?
Probably partly because of the box, partly because of the commercials.
That's exactly right. Good brands do three things. They're easy to acquire, they perform, and then they reassure. So the same consulting firm, McKinsey, called Cheerios because now if you look at the Cheerios box, it's got the heart behind the Cheerios logo. And they
Right.
said, I mean, it's a complex carbohydrate. So it fills you up, but is it really good for your heart? They dove in and actually, if, next time you're in the grocery store, look at it. Look on the nutritional facts at the bottom. It will tell you it's
Yeah.
compared to an average American breakfast. That's defined as 2 eggs that are cooked in bacon grease with 2 strips of bacon. Okay. So
So
compared to
compared to
that,
Waffle House.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. They control their benchmark. But have you ever walked into a grocery store and not been able to get Cheerios? No. Do they perform? Yes, they fill you up. And then they reassure. They tell you that it's a heart healthy cereal, and
Yeah.
they control that
Yeah.
benchmark. And so I guess
Yeah.
for us, are we easy to acquire? Are we there for our customers? Do we perform? Do we
Yeah.
deliver the best customer service possible? And then do we reassure? I mean, like I said, my office manager, she's literally worth her weight in gold because of how great she is with customers. When
Yeah.
there's a customer that comes in, they always brag to me about her because of how great she is at customer service. She reassures
Nice.
every single time. She always performs. She's easy to
Yeah.
acquire, and
Yeah.
that's why I think it's so important to develop that brand, because vice versa, if you're on the opposite end of that, it's not a good thing. You
Right.
always want to be the guy with and after a sentence, not but. He's a good
Right.
guy and he
Yeah.
delivers with this and he does that. The buts, he's a good guy, but he doesn't do this. That I want to
Yeah.
be an and guy. So
Yeah. 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 Love that. Love that. Um, what concerns or maybe fear is too strong a word, but is there anything that scares you about what you're set out to do, or any obstacles you're anticipating, anything like that?
in my first 2 years, there was a lot that concerned me, but it's because of what I was focusing on. When you
Yeah.
focus on helping people and you focus on doing the right thing and developing your team and building a brand, there's not too much that can, that can really stop that in its tracks. And so this year, I don't really have a lot of concerns other than just making sure that we continue to develop, continue to do our best, continue to beat last year's number, and continue to be bigger than ourselves. That's really it. I just the biggest thing that we've got to fight is complacency. And we got to control that benchmark.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that. Kind of to tie that back to what we were talking about earlier. You went through that transition in the first few years with going from lagging indicators to leading indicators and leading activity, right? So that's, I think what you're saying is you've got confidence in your set of leading activity indicators, and so your focus is on those details, and you can have confidence in the results that will come, as a result of performing to the leading activity indicators. Is that kind of a fair connection to make?
That's exactly right. And the other thing is we never compare to what competitors are doing. We compare to what we're capable of. And that's the expectation that we have for ourselves. We don't look at, look, right up the road from us is one of the top performing agents in all of State Farm. He straight up kills it. We never compare ourselves to that because we're just not in that same ballpark right now. We will be one day, but right now we do our best with what we have, and that's still pretty dang good. And so, and you know what? We never feel like we fail when we do that. We always produce our best. So,
which is a healthy path for getting to that, higher scope of capability, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If not, you're always going to feel like a failure.
Yeah. Love that. Let's see. Next question I have here is, in your line of work, to what degree do you expect to see an impact when we begin to experience a correction in the economy? So not a fun thing to talk about, but.
Well, I guess from a supplemental insurance standpoint is where I would see the biggest impact. People aren't going to be buying houses when the economy goes down. People aren't going to be buying huge disability policies when the economy goes down, or hospital policies. But people will always, it's a state law in North Carolina to have auto insurance. People are always going to buy auto insurance. And so I think that our true success is developing and expanding our relationships when the times are good, to where when the times are bad, we can lean on those existing relationships. Because if I've got somebody who's coming in, when an economy goes down, people cut, budgets. People will go down to the bare minimums. If they think that they're paying too much for X, Y, and Z, then they'll shop it and go to a cheaper one regardless of value. So what we've got to do when the times are good is develop that reputation, develop that brand, to where no matter what the price does, people won't leave. And to where and this is kind of building it out like 3 to 5 years down the road, but if/when the economy corrects itself, we've still got to hit our numbers each year. So we've got to have a deep enough field to where we can make those phone calls and talk to people about those products, and we'll just have to increase our activity in order to get the applications in,
Yeah, I love that. I had a similar conversation with a friend of mine who's a realtor, and they have an established team, established brand, and I would, in some ways compare them to my understanding of kind of what world you're living in terms of how you have played into your community and kind of how you focus on, the customer service, the value that you're creating before you're trying to focus on the value that the customers are returning to you.
Right.
And I think it's interesting just the way that they're coached through the very top of their organization, do exactly what you're talking about. You know, it's not it in a service industry, you know, role or a company. It's not that the business is not there when when the economy may correct a little bit. It's just that it's a time to differentiate, but it's also a time to kind of kick your activity up.
That's right.
So was kind of a recent conversation, very much in line with what you're suggesting. I appreciate that.
Yep.
So as we kind of start to land this plane here, so the theme, you know, that I put on this was a call to action, right? So in that thread, just broadly speaking, what would you challenge others with that are listening?
To simplify all of their, I guess, processes as much as possible, and think of things in groups of threes. I would also challenge people to serve more than themselves and start thinking about things bigger than them. I think that when you truly want to experience greatness, you start to serve, because it kind of takes a career out of picture and starts talking about a legacy at that point. And then I would suggest a routine. I would figure out a routine every single day that has small things in it that you can do that will add up over a long period of time. And yeah, I mean, if you do those three things, then you're going to be able to really make big strides in a year.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one thing that we haven't talked about, that you just, I could kind of see the trend as we talked, but you just called it out. Thinking about things in terms of threes. That's a methodology that I've subscribed to and really try to implement, you know, in my own like personal and professional life. So that's actually part of the story behind E3 Media, and just, you know, the mission of the simple mission of enlighten, energize, and empower. But it goes a little bit, you know, layer deeper in terms of like three, you know, whether you want to take a triangle, a stool, you know, geometry or not geometry. Like you can think of things. Three is not too many, right? You can accomplish things instead of threes where it's manageable, but it also covers more than just trying to put all your focus on one thing, right?
Right.
So anyway, I could, maybe that's another episode we can talk about.
You can go deep into that for sure. You can go real deep into it. That's Tony Robbins' school of thought for sure.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Where if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, where would you point them to? Social media?
Probably LinkedIn. Yeah, my LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man.
What couple random questions to wrap things up. Rapid fire here. What book are you currently reading?
I do it all on 12 minutes, so I listen to it. But I did How to Win Friends and Influence People this morning.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm doing Starting with Why by Simon Sinek tomorrow morning.
Okay. Nice. Where is your next vacation going to be?
Disney. Yeah.
Sometime soon?
June. No, I'm sorry, August. August. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Magical place.
I know. Expensive place. But.
Yeah. But you know, man, that there's a lot of business principles to be learned by how they execute.
No doubt. Yeah. They are a successful business.
Yeah. That's awesome. Last one. If you could be a superhero, who would it be?
I guess Superman.
Nice.
Yep. I don't know why, but Superman or Batman, so I could actually be Bruce Wayne and have millions and millions of dollars to help people. So
in a car.
Yeah.
Cool. Questions would you have for me?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I don't think so, because a lot of people eat them without the buns.
Is a Cheeto a chip?
There's no way. No, chips got to be like somewhat relatively flat. Can't be three-dimensional like that.
Give me a ballpark on how many windows are in the city of New York.
Which part? Like
Manhattan.
all of Manhattan? Windows? I don't know. There's probably an average of 15,000 on a building. I don't know how many buildings there are. Probably, let's go with 18 million.
It's pretty dang close. 23 million.
Wow.
Pretty good guess. But that's all that I got, man. That was my lightning round right back to you.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, man, I really appreciate your time. I know we went maybe a little bit over what we had carved out, but it's been a pleasure kind of hearing more of the story, and I appreciate you being a part of this journey and being a part of this launch in particular. I'm excited.
Yeah, dude, no problem. Thanks for having me on there. I appreciate it.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed these videos as much as I enjoyed having the discussion with Adam. There have been a lot of just practical tools and philosophies and stuff packed into these 3 episodes. I'm super grateful that you've been here to watch these videos and be a part of this journey with me. Again, subscribe, check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. And then what we have looking forward to next week, I'll have a new guest. His name's Derek Gillette. He's the VP of marketing for a leadership development startup, and they are really looking to kind of catapult and revolutionize the way that frontline leaders and middle managers manage and develop their teams. I'm super excited to jump into this next week and looking forward to having you continue watching videos. Thank you.